So today we finally had a chance to get out to the range and test some of the load data and get some information from it. So I figured I'd share that. We used this as our test rifle. So it's a 16-inch barrel from Faxon, and it has a carbine length gas system. Just because I know some people are having trouble with subsonic loads and a carbine length gas system, well, that's what we have here. A Fail Zero nickel boron bolt carrier group. I really like the Fail Zero bolt carriers. They're just super easy to clean, and in my opinion, they're definitely worth what you pay. So today we had some really good results with the loads. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of go over what I did, how I loaded it, and what my results were. So okay, I did a previous video on the brass that I'm using and kind of the importance of annealing it. So we're not going to go through any of that. I'm using just Hornady 6.5 Creedmoor brass, and I've converted it to 8.6 Blackout. Comes out looking like this. Now, the videos today of shooting and getting chrono data, unfortunately I forgot I had the settings changed on my camera, so stabilization's not on, so it is a little bit shaky, but regardless, we got some excellent data. We decided to run with the TTSX from Barnes, 185 grain. This is our supersonic bullet that we used, and then we used the 300 grain Sierra Match Kings, the SMKs. So these are a great bullet. We didn't have any issues. The only issues that we actually had were cycling, and I'll get into that in just a minute. So everything that we loaded was loaded with Accurate 1680 powder. It's a great powder. It definitely, it's the only powder that there's load data for out there aside from Vittori, and that powder's kind of expensive and also hard to find. So since this is what we're starting with, we're just going to kind of share our experience with that. Now, in terms of the brass that I used, these two are the subsonic loads that I talked about. These ones did not cycle the action because the charge was just not quite good enough. It wasn't potent enough for my carbine length gas system. Might have been fine in a pistol length gas system, but not in a carbine length gas system. So the orange coated edges of the brass, that indicates the firings that I've had off these particular pieces of brass. So with the brass that I've been making out of Hornady brass and annealing, so far I've gotten 4 firings off of those cases, and I definitely look forward to kind of getting more firings off them, because they're still in really good shape. So actually pull one out, and I don't see any splitting, I don't see any cracking or anything like that. So I'm excited to see if I'm going to end up getting 5 or 10 loads out of these. And these were supersonic, so if we do get 5 or 10, I'll be pretty impressed. But anyways, so for the first firings that we did, or the ladder test that we did, we ran the supersonics, and we ran 31.5 grains of Accurate 1680 under the Barnes TTSX 185 grain bullet, and we ended up getting really good results. So I will try and put the data up on the video so you can get an idea. Give me 1 second, let me find it. Okay. Alright, so for the 31.5 grain loads that we did, we ended up with some 2126, 2156, and 2128 as our velocities. So let's see if we can get that to kind of focus there. That was our velocity that we got, our feet per second. So the next one we ran was 32 grains of the Accurate 1680, and under 32 grains we ended up with 2135, 2144, and 2125. So all very close together. That is definitely what we wanted to see. And then we ran four cartridges at 32.5 grains of the accurate 1680, and those came in at 2190, 2173, 2177, and 2161. So all very close together. So in my opinion, since it cycled fine at 31.5 grains, I didn't have any issues. I think that that's the load that I'm going to stick with for the 185 grain TTSX. So, and then moving on to the Sierra 300 grains. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the 300 grain. And again, I'm gonna post this results up into the video, so you could see there that we're missing 2 of the shots. Those are the 2 cases that I said they basically wouldn't be worth running because they did not cycle the action. So for those, we started with 10.5 grains of the accurate 1680 under the 300 grain Sierra SMK, and the load data that we got was 488 feet per second, which is ridiculously slow. And then right after that, 628. So there was a lot of variation between the first 2 that we ran, and I decided not to run the third one because of that. Now, all these loads were triple checked when we were loading to ensure accuracy. They were not done with a powder drop, but they were individually weighed because we wanted to make sure that we were very consistent. So when I see a spread like that of 140 feet per second under the same load, it's something I want to stay away from. I don't trust that. That's just, and not only that, but 488 feet per second is a little slow in my opinion for what I was trying to do. So moving on, we jumped up to 14.5 grains of accurate 1680 under the 300 grain Sierra Match Kings, and those ones were a little bit more promising. They did not cycle the action, so the brass did not fully eject, but we got consistent velocity. So we got 947 and 957 feet per second, and that's good. It would probably be great in a bolt gun and super quiet. You know, we're in California, so we can't run a can, but I imagine with a can, the extra pressure, that would probably have not had an issue. Or with a pistol length gas system, which we will be testing here pretty soon, it might not have been an issue either. So we'll just kind of, for now, we know that we need to be a little bit above that. So for the next 3 bullets that we ran 15.5 grains of accurate 1680. Hello, Wookie. Underneath the Sierra Match King 300 grain bullet, and for those we got 1,001 feet per second, 1,008 feet per second, and 1,013 feet per second. So we did actually measure the temperature of the barrel in between, and it was pretty consistent. So I'm just going to take it that those slight fluctuations were only plus minus 12 feet per second. So that's good enough for me. And that was with 15.5 grains, and it cycled great, it ran great, so I'm very happy with that. I imagine that in a pistol length gas system it would be fine too. Maybe, most likely, I'll put an adjustable gas block on the 12-inch and the 8-inch, so, but we'll do that in another video. The last one that I ran was just kind of, I only ran one because I wanted to see how much of an increase I got. So I ran 16 grains of 1680 under a 300 grain Sierra Match King bullet, and I ended up with 1,045 feet per second. So not a big jump, and considering the action already cycled well at 15.5 grains, I'm pretty happy with that for my subsonic load. Now, of course, this was all just using one type of powder and 2 types of projectiles, but either way, I feel like we got some good data, and we're gonna, you know, going forward, we're gonna try some different things, but it gave us a great starting point. So if you're interested in this kind of stuff, or you like seeing these types of videos, definitely let us know by smashing the subscribe button, and comment down below. Let us know what you think. I definitely enjoy making these videos for everybody, and it's a lot of fun to get out there and shoot and kind of push new cartridges to their limits and see what they can do, see what works, see what doesn't work. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and show the videos for the chrono data, but please forgive me. I did not turn on stabilization on my camera, so it is just a little bit shaky. And on top of that, I did not actually mount the GoPro well, so every time we shoot, the GoPro hops. But either way, it's going to be entertaining at the very least. So I will see you next time, and definitely let us know what you think. Thanks. Yep. So the first 3 out will be the supers at 31.5 grains with the 185 TTSX.
Right through the
2126. 2156. 2128.
Should we keep going? So that was the first 3. So we're good. You got them all loaded up back to back?
Yep.
Okay.
2100. 2144. 2125. 2190. 2173. 2177. 2161.
Okay. She runs. There we go. Very nice.
We're good. Oh, that's nice. Okay,
Here's
so
our
you
load data.
Loaded up.
All right, so this is the Sierra Match King 300 grain subsonic loads in the 8.6 Blackout. Now, the beginning loads, Dustin, at 10 grains, I don't know if they will cycle.
Okay.
So we're going to find out.
No.
188.
So it did grab around.
Oh, it did. Okay.
That's okay. That's good data to have.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it. It was so soft. I thought for sure it didn't even extract.
Did it reset the trigger, though, is the question.
Yeah, I don't know. Come on now.
Now this is the third firing on these shells that we're using. So I'm also testing brass at the same time. But that was only 500 feet per second, 488.
I can't believe it cycled. Pretty surprising.
Honestly, I can't either.
It was so soft. All right.
628.
It didn't reset the trigger. Oh.
It didn't eject the brass, did it?
No. Hold on. We'll get it. Just, it was me messing with it, or it was the chamber.
All right, so 10.5 is a no-go in the semi. Okay, it crunched the brass. It didn't eject it.
Probably going to do the same thing.
Didn't eject it. And that's at 900 feet per second. Is
This is
going to
another
be
one of those.
your 15. So this is the third one.
This was the one we set aside, right?
Yeah, and then this one in there is the other one. So this is going to be your first one at 15.5 grains.
Okay. So leave that full one in there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
just go to the 15.5. Okay.
Now, carbine length gas system. This is where your subs are kind of more for a pistol length gas system or a bolt gun.
Well, and suppressed because you're gonna have more
And
back
suppressed,
pressure.
absolutely.
Felt like it cycled.
1001. 1008. 1013.
Okay,
1045.
empty. So the results are exactly as I anticipated.